Once upon a time, in a land filled with gingerbread houses and gumdrop trees, lived a small but adventurous detective named Pip. Pip wasn't your average detective. He was a tiny mouse with a magnifying glass almost as big as himself. One day, a terrible crisis struck the land. All the delicious chocolate chip cookies had vanished. The kingdom's baker, a jolly gnome named Barnaby, was distraught. His famous cookies, known throughout the land for their melt-in-your-mouth goodness, were gone without a trace. Pip, ever eager for a challenge, accepted the case. He began his investigation by meticulously examining the scene of the crime. Barnaby's bakery, tiny crumbs, barely visible to the naked eye, led Pip on a thrilling chase. He followed the trail, his whiskers twitching with excitement, past towering candy canes and swirling lollipop bushes. The trail led him to a hidden cave behind a giant gumdrop mountain. Inside the cave, Pip discovered a hoard of cookies, carefully stacked and guarded by a grumpy badger named Boris. Boris, it turned out, had a sweet tooth that was only satisfied by Barnaby's cookies. He'd been secretly stealing them for weeks, building a secret stash for himself. Pip, however, was not easily intimidated. He used his quick wit and charm to convince Boris that sharing was caring. He explained how much joy Barnaby's cookies brought to the land, and how sad everyone was that they were missing. Boris, touched by Pip's words and the thought of all the happy faces he could bring, agreed to return the cookies. Together, Pip and Boris carefully carried the cookies back to Barnaby's bakery. The kingdom erupted in cheers as Barnaby baked a massive thank you cake for Pip and Boris. Pip, the tiny mouse detective, became a legend, proving that even the smallest creature can solve the biggest mysteries, especially when it involves cookies. From that day on, Boris became a regular helper in Barnaby's bakery,